Yo. Welcome into the ChrisBeCappinn Show, man. Top of the morning. Today is December the 12th. There are plethora of games in the NBA that are back on for today. So we're going to jump into it. Very frustrated. I was punching air last night. So on Thursdays, I think I've said this on the show before, but on Thursdays, my son does have basketball practice. So typically I sit down right before I eat dinner or, most of the time right before I'm eating dinner, and I finalize all the plays based on injury news. I send out the plays to the members. Yesterday, however, I forgot that we had basketball practice until we actually had basketball practice. So I didn't send out anything that we talked about yesterday on the show. We get to basketball practice, go through it or whatever. After I'm in the car coming back home, I see the games and I see the scores, and I'm like, oh, I went the Rockets. Second half, I went the Rockets. The Clippers are an old team. They'll come out, they won't give as much effort in the third quarter, fourth quarter. And the Clippers will, the Thunder, the Rockets will pull off the game and win the game by a margin, which I just had 3.5 live. 3.5 ended up being trash. I want to give a big non-thank you to Alfred Sengun, who got absolutely dominated by Zubac last night. Justin Holiday last night for missing a free throw late. Asir Thompson for not grabbing the rebound. Amin Thompson, I'm sorry, for not grabbing the rebound and securing it and pushing it up to a teammate that can actually shoot free throws instead of throwing elbows and trying to knock people out. And to Kawhi Leonard for throwing the most meaningless pass to Zubac to make sure that they lost the game by 2 and then not even be able to foul with 1.5 seconds left after the game. I was super frustrated. It actually reminds me why sports betting is so frustrating. So minus the 3.5 was a loser. That was the only thing I ended up playing yesterday. Hopefully you guys found some ways to make money. I'm not going to. I felt like I needed to kind of ramble. I had to, I was furious last night. I was furious last night. I still feel furious. Oh man, but it is what it is, man. We lose some, we win some. So all one day for myself yesterday, man. Nate says, good morning, Chris and Chat. Took Houston team total over. Got me on the hook. Denny had a bad shooting night. Let's find some winners today. Yeah, I ended up staying off Denny. I probably would have been on Denny, but I would have played his points plus rebounds. I told you guys I like that a little bit more. He didn't even catch that either. Today's a good day, Jay Carter says. Sometimes you got to put that positivity into the atmosphere, for sure. I like it. Barry says, what's up, Chris and Chat? Miles Bridges over his rebounds and assists. No Melo, no Sexton. We'll talk about it. Prolific says, good morning, Chris. 1-0 day. I'll take it. Absolutely. P says, Portis and Kuzma combined for 58. Lazy Celtics answer. Check it from the parking lot for 48. That's a fact. That is a fact. Especially in the second half, they could not make a shot. And the other play that I was going to talk about was the live under. And I don't even know if it stayed under or not, but the live under in that game last night between the Celtics. At halftime, I think the total got up to 237 just because it was such a high scoring first half. But if you played the under, you definitely cash it. They finished 217. So I was gonna play 2 plays and I was like, nah, I just want to kind of focus on one game. I was already trying to look into these games, and it bit me last night for sure. Mid-range Bully says, top of the morning, let's get some bread for sure. Good morning, Fly Zero. Top of the morning, Paramount Sports. All right, we're going to jump into it. Good morning, PZ. What's up, Gusto? Marquis says, shout out to KPJ, triple-double. And I should have bet my boy Bobby Portis also, but I take the money. Absolutely. Good morning, Justin. What up, Doms? The Celtics first half, Nuggets first quarter, first half, and full game. Rockets over 114.5, all cash for me. Nothing better than a green day. And that's a fact, man. I got to get back to a green day for sure. Good morning, G421. Good morning, Mark. What's up, Brian? I was also punching myself when I take a different first quarter. We talked about it yesterday. That Kings team, man, I mean, they just got to blow it up. Like, that was so dumb not to take different first quarter. I got to get past because I just feel like I dropped the ball yesterday. There was so many ways to make money. I did not do so. Let's jump into it for today, man. So first up, we'll start with Jackson. Jackson, I was thinking to myself this morning, should have just entailed Jackson. Jackson went 2-0 yesterday. Jackson liked Denver minus the 9.5. It was the easiest winner on the board yesterday. They ended up winning by 31. And Jackson also liked the over between Portland and New Orleans. And that game finished 263 points, and we could have got 40 yesterday. So, I hope people tailed it because it was easy money yesterday. So as far as today goes, prompt is, let's see, what is the best spread bet and total bet in the NBA for today based on situational injuries and analytical data? Jackson likes the Philadelphia 76ers minus the 7. It says the line for this game is being heavily influenced by the season-long struggles of the Indiana Pacers, which are directly tied to the absence of a superstar point guard. The analytical profile of the Pacers without their engine makes the spread look highly exploitable. So best line is minus 7, looks like on BetRivers minus 113. It says the most critical factor in this matchup is the status of Tyrese Halliburton, who remains sidelined due to Achilles tear sustained last year. The news reports confirmed that the Pacers have fallen to a dismal 6-18 without him. The injury has fundamentally changed Indiana's identity, transforming them from a competitive team into one of the league's worst offensive units. The Pacers' struggles are not just anecdotal. They are statistically profound. The news highlights that the teams are being far more cautious with lower leg injuries like calf strains and Achilles tears, meaning Halliburton's return is not imminent, and the Pacers must continue to rely on severely diminished roster. So there's the offensive rating for the Pacers, who rank 29th in offensive rating. There's the effective field goal percentage. The Pacers are also dead last at 30th. An effective field goal percentage at 50.5%. They're simply unable to convert efficiently without Halliburton creating opportunities. So net rating, the Pacers hold a net rating of minus 7.4, which is 25th in the NBA. The 76ers, while not an elite team, are solid and inefficient. They hold a positive net rating of 0.8, 16th in the NBA, and a defensive rating of 113.5, 14th in the NBA. They're facing a team that's analytically worse than their record suggests, especially when factoring in the injury report. Philly should have no trouble covering the 7-point spread against the Indiana Pacers team that has proven incapable of generating efficient offense. The next bet is the under between the Brooklyn Nets and the Dallas Mavericks. So it says the total is set low, but the sheer volume of offensive talent missing for Dallas combined with the Nets' slow pace creates a strong case for the under here. So I'm not going to read all this, but of course, Kyrie Irving, Derek Lively, Dante Exum, Daniel Gafford all remain out. The absence of injuries is devastating for Dallas offense that already ranks 28th in the NBA. With a 108.6 offensive rating. Without the secondary star and key depth pieces, the Mavericks will struggle immensely to generate points, even against a poor Brooklyn team. So then there's the analytical match in the pace suppression. So the Dallas offensive struggles. Dallas is 28th in offensive rating. Their effective field goal percentage is also poor at 26, and ranking 26th at 52.5%. Brooklyn pace, 28th slowest pace team in the NBA, 97.65 possessions per game. The slow pace will limit the overall number of possessions for the game, which is the single best predictor of a total score, according to research on NBA's betting strategy. Dallas defense, despite their offensive woes, Dallas maintains a respectable defense, ranking 7th in defensive rating at 112.3. This strong defense should be able to contain the Nets offense that is also missing key players like Cam Thomas. So there we go. 2 bets for today. Nets and the Mavs under 222. Shop around, make sure you're getting the best number. And then the Philadelphia 76ers minus 7 if you like those numbers, if you like those looks. All right, let's jump into it. So first up, I wanted to go through this Atlanta and Detroit game. Didn't bet this one, but I wanted to give you guys my notes. I do want to do a little bit more due diligence on this game before I end up making a play. So we start with the injury report. I'm sorry. And on the Atlanta side of things, they will be without Porzingis. He's like having that illness thing again. I'm not sure what they got going on in the water down there in Atlanta, but he only one that's drinking that kind of water. He continues to be out with an illness. So no Porzingis on the Atlanta side. Trae Young, of course, still out. And then on Detroit side of things, they will be fully healthy for this game. So Atlanta is in a spot where you typically want to buy on them, right? Like we always talk about this. Atlanta, you typically want them plus the points when they're getting points. As a road dog, they've been successful this season. Really quickly, I already had some of this stuff in my notes, but I want to share with you guys. So they're 4-3 straight up and 5-2 against the number when they've been a road dog this season. That's significant in my opinion. The Pistons is not like they can't cover at home because they absolutely can. They are 13-9 against the spread in the first half, only 12-11 against the number at home. I just kind of feel like we saw 3 dogs cover yesterday, right? So when you have these big rest advantages, road dogs covered, home dogs covered. Like I think the only team that was favored that won and covered was the Denver Nuggets yesterday. And I think when you have like the rest advantage, when you have equal amount of rest, like sometimes you can catch these dogs in a really good spot, man. I like the Hawks here. I would take them plus the points. Detroit's 1-5 against the spread when they're facing the team that they've previously beaten already this season. They're also 5-1 to the under in that spot as well. I kind of feel like it's like Hawks and under, in my opinion. Both of these teams are in the bottom half of the top half of the league as far as defensive rating goes. Detroit being 4th, Atlanta being 12th. It's really going to come down to it if Atlanta is going to be able to knock down some threes. If there's one significant defensive metric in this game, it is that the Pistons give up a lot of above the break 3 attempts. And they're not really great at guarding the 3-point line. So if Atlanta can get hot, then I think Atlanta will be able to keep this one close. I would take Atlanta plus the points in this game. I haven't bet it yet. I know that the line is moving towards Detroit because this opened at 6 yesterday. So quick thoughts on that one. Like I said, I got a little bit more work to do, but that's my thought process there. Let's see what you guys are thinking about this one. MPJ, Markel says, same with the 76ers first quarter. Brian says Hawks plus 7.5. Justin likes it. He likes over 234.5. Total it's going up. It was 232.5 yesterday. I kind of think we see a little bit of defense from the Hawks. The Hawks, for whatever reason, when they're on the road as a dog, their defense always plays better. And we know, I think this game, if the game is competitive, it's going to slow down in the second half, which we've seen, religiously. Even in the games that happened yesterday, like once the game get competitive, it slows down a little bit. The Hawks are 6-1 to the under in the first half. I'm sorry, as a road dog, and then overall, their opponents are 6-1 to the under on their opponent team total as well. So this is when the Hawks play defense. They're 4-3 to the under. If they're a home dog as well, I think this game goes under. I do think it goes under. So I disagree with you on the total, Justin, but I didn't bet it. Let's see. I agree with something that I said. Dom says like the under as well. Is Trey back? No, he's not. Should be a great spot for Jalen Johnson and Nickeil Alexander-Walker over their points prop mid-range. I could definitely see that. I need to look into player props. Taylor says he likes Duren over his 18.5 points. Gets 74 of his points in the restricted area. Hawks allowed 24th most points in the restricted area. This is a fact, right? We talked about this before. Didn't we bet this? Yeah, we bet this. I'm tripping. Yeah. So remember, these two teams just played against each other, right? And Atlanta was playing second leg of back-to-back. And I think, right? And it was in Detroit. They won the game. Atlanta lost by 1 point. That total flew underneath the total. It was 99-98, I want to say it was. And we bet Duren over his points, and they had to go to zone, right? Because there was no Porzingis. They ended up having to go to zone to slow Duren down. And I think he had like 14 or 15 in the first half. And then we took him over 18.5 or 17.5 or something like that. And he got there in the third quarter, the late third quarter, I think. But that zone did slow him down a little bit. It definitely slowed him down. Detroit's not the best three-point shooting team either. Jalen Johnson is not on the injury report. Let's see. What's up, Dan? I appreciate you for tapping in. Played Atlanta, 9-4 ATS as a dog. 7 of the last 9 meetings have went over. Hawks over, and 10 of the last 14. Okay, so just riding with the trend. Albert bucket in this one. All right, let's go. Next game up. Utah Jazz and the Grizzlies, man. Another one. I still got a little bit more work to do. We start with the injury report. So I did see Lauri Markkanen is going to be in. He's off the injury report. And I like the ugly games today. I'm not going to lie to you guys. I like some ugly dogs. Ja Morant is upgraded to questionable. Utah Jazz will be fully healthy outside of Gorgeous Niang. But Ja Morant is listed as questionable. Brandon Clark, Zach Edey. Well, Brandon Clark is out with Ty Jerome and John Conchar and Scottie Pippen Jr. But Zach Edey is now out as well. He's going to be out, I think it was 4 weeks is what I saw. We don't have a lot of different factors to go into this game. We could look at Utah, from a player prop perspective. I'm sorry, not from a player prop perspective. I'm tripping. Utah from a from an analytical perspective, as far as like ATS wise, they're not good, right? We know that the Jazz are just 2-6 against the spread as road dogs this season, 2-5-1 in the first half. The Grizzlies have been good at home. They're 4-2 against the spread in the first half, 5-1 against the spread for the full game. I will bucket though. This is another game where I kind of want to bucket. What I want to do is I want to wait, see if Ja gets ruled in. Not that that's going to help the Utah Jazz, but I think Ja could be a little inefficient in this game. So there's a couple of things that make me like Utah in this game. First off, Memphis is 4-9 straight up, 3-10 against the spread in their last in their 13 games so far this season when Zach Edey has not played. So remember, we talked about the last time we saw the Memphis Grizzlies play, they were at home. I talked about liking them against Portland, taking Portland team total under. But a lot of that, and I gave you guys the number in the last show, a lot of that was because Zach Edey really dominates. And without him, defense gets a lot worse. So it's not that Ja Morant can't come back and help the offense, but I wouldn't expect them to be super efficient. Even though it is the Jazz defense, like that's a great defense to come back against. If he's ruled in, we may get a little bit of a better number here. The other thing that really, kind of jumped off the page to me, and I was just kind of holding on to this, is that Will Hardy laid into, I'm pretty sure most of you guys have probably saw it on social media. He laid into, this team in their last game before the break when they were getting absolutely blown out against the Oklahoma City Thunder at home. I think they were down by 40 points. At one point in that game, they were down by the most points in a home game in Utah Jazz history. He questioned their effort. It was some choice words that we can't say because it's a family show, but it was some choice words that he had with his guys, and somebody happened to pick up on it. I think we see a good showing here from the Utah Jazz. I know that nobody will want them on the road as a dog. They're 2-6 against the spread. Not laying with Memphis if they don't have Zach Edey, though. That's my thought process. And I like that everybody's off the injury report. So I lean Utah plus the points in this game. If not the full game, maybe the first half. I know the Jazz can run out of gas late, but that's the way I kind of see this game, man. I want to find a way to play on the Utah Jazz thinking that they are live. Not even live to win the game, honestly, but I think they can at least cover the spread. The first half number is 3.5 for Memphis. The best full game number you can find right now is you can get Utah plus 7.5 on Polymark, and DraftKings got a 7.5. BetMGM got a 7.5. I lean Utah plus the points in this game. Still want to do a little bit more work on the team, on the player props if there's something that I like, and it may just be like a play on marketing, honestly. But Utah plus the 7.5 will be my thought process on this game. Another ugly dog that I like. Let's see. What's up, BIB says, I'd rather take the points with the Hawks here. I got to bet the Hornets tonight. Fade the Bulls. Okay. Good morning, Lightbearer. Appreciate you for tapping in this morning. Dom says, I like the Utah team total under 117 until I heard the Edey news. Yeah. Not without Edey. Not without Edey. Not for my money. Not without Edey. Jay Carter says, first game with Ja back. We got to fade him, right? He's questionable. We'll see if he plays. He said they look horrible with Ja. So if you put Ja on the floor and take Zach Edey off the floor, I'm pretty sure it's probably a Utah team total over. Ja don't play that much defense. And I don't know, man. I kind of like the guards. Like the guards are not bad. I just think it's about effort with Utah. Like, remember there was the time early in the season where Utah got blown out by the Charlotte Hornets. And then on the second leg of a back-to-back on the East Coast, they went into Boston and won that game outright the next game. Remember that? That was a Saturday or Sunday into a Monday, or a Saturday into a Sunday. So, spots like this kind of stand out to me when Utah's coming off a pretty bad loss where they didn't cover. That's my thought process. Good morning, Adam. Mary says, I'll take the Jazz. Will be too weak defending the paint. Nurkic should eat today. Yeah, I agree. Dom says Jazz first quarter money line might be a sneaky good look. I can see that. Taylor says I can see Ja over his 6.5 assists, but staying away from him and just coming back. Yeah, I wouldn't. No Edey, no Grizzlies. Free Sauce says that's a fact. What's up, Free Sauce? Appreciate you for tapping in, bro. Says can't touch the Jazz on the road either. It's tough, man, but that's the way I would look. All right, let's keep going. Some plays I actually did make. So the Nets and the Mavs. Real quick, let me just double check what I want to play. When I checked last night, it wasn't available. When I checked this morning, it still wasn't available. And it's still not available. Anyway, let's get to the game. I don't really care about this game from a total and side perspective. The Mavs are laying 8 points here. Not really a lot to talk about from both teams are super well rested. We look at the Brooklyn Nets. They have been playing a little bit better basketball recently. But, I mean, I think you could say the same thing for the Mavs. Mavs play super fast. They're first in pace, seventh in defensive rating. If we go look at just the last 5 games, I don't want the Mavs as a favorite. I feel like this is a spot where they typically drop the ball, even though they have been playing a little bit better. The Mavs are a whopping 0-5 against the spread as a home favorite, and the Nets are 6-4-1 against the spread as a road dog so far this season. I feel like both of these teams have been playing a little bit better. I'm just trying to give you guys something as far as side and total goes. So the Nets are 19th in offensive rating, 7th in defensive rating. Their defense has picked it up. The Mavericks have been playing a little bit better offense since Nembhard has been the point guard. The 20th in offense, 7th in offensive rating, and 17th in defensive rating. Yeah, I think I want the points here with Brooklyn, man. I know that they suck. They're not great, but I like what I've been seeing from them recently. One other thing I wanted to check just really, really quickly. Give me 1 second, and then I'll tell you guys what I do like in this game from a player prop perspective. You should know already, honestly. You should know what I like in this one, but let's go. I just want to look at the strength of schedule for these two teams real quick. So, like the recent strength of schedule, I feel like Dallas has played the harder schedule. Yeah, this is what pushes me off of it. So Brooklyn has played the easiest strength of schedule. I do remember them smacking up the Pelicans like the Pelicans was a 8th grade team. So Brooklyn's played the easiest strength of schedule. That could be some of the reason why they're 7th in defensive rating on the full season. They're not a great defensive team. They are 26th in defensive rating. So the defense has gotten better, but you could say strength of schedule. Dallas has actually played really well. They are actually offense has done a lot better. They're 6th in offensive rating over the last 5 games, 17th in defensive rating over the last 5 games. And they played the 3rd strongest strength of schedule. They had a game against OKC where they got absolutely smoked, but they've done well in other games. So that kind of, I guess, talks me off of Brooklyn. What I want to play, though, is, and I wrote this in my notes last night, the line just still is not available, only on Underdog, is Ryan Nembhard over his 5.5 assists, man. Like, hopefully that's where the line comes out at. Maybe it's at 6.5. I would still play it there as well. Couple things I looked at. So let's go over to Outlier really quickly. All right, yeah, I got this up. All right, so if we look at Outlier, link is in the description as always for really all the handicapping tools that I use, but this is Outlier. So Nembhard here, right? You can see his assists, and it really just comes with his minutes. Look at his minutes, right? You can see here, this is just the last 10 games, just 2, 10, 8, and then, they found something, right? 23, 20, 34, 34, 24, 20, 23. And this game was a blowout here against the Oklahoma City Thunder. So with 17 minutes or more, he's actually over in 4 of his 7 games, averaging 6.9 assists. In his last 5 games, he's averaging 27 minutes, which we can see if we just go to here. We can see that he's averaging 27 minutes per game and 10.8 potential assists. You can see that number right here. So the Nets, we know that they really, really struggle. 5th most assists allowed. They're bottom 6th in points allowed in the restricted area, where Nembhard gets 35% of his assists at this season as well. So the books, I'm just waiting for him to, stop being cowards and drop the look, so I can play on Nembhard over his assists. I want him out. I want his assist line at home against a defense for Brooklyn that I think does take a step back, specifically guarding the ball today. So that's my thought process on this game. It's on the short list, but I didn't bet it yet because I can't. It's not available. So that's my thought process there. Patrol says he likes Dallas here. AD should be playing. I didn't see him on the injury report. I know I didn't go over the injury report, but he's not on the injury report for Dallas. Only Gafford, and Gafford's doubtful, and Kyrie is out, and Cam Thomas is out, and Highsmith still hasn't played. That's the only injury report news. Gilbert says he likes Ja over his points going back to that last game. Mark says he likes the over 221. Haven't bet it yet. Good morning, dude. Appreciate you for tapping in as always, my brother. Good morning, Kev. Appreciate you for tapping in as always, my brother. Vaughn says, already know what happened to Scoot. Did he give the ball? Did he give on ball and not tell anybody about it? Did he give up on ball? I think is what Vaughn means. I'm not sure. This is an old that I'm taking Dallas. Yeah, that you got to start looking at strength of schedule, in my opinion, recent. In some of these games. Larry says Christie over 7.5 points. I can see that. Taylor likes PJ Washington over his 15.5 points. This is with AD in versus teams that are ranked 15th or worse. First spot up. Nets ranked 30th. He's over in 4 or 5 games, averaging 17.8. Nets also 29th in transition defense. 50% of his points come from spot up and transition. That makes a ton of sense. I like that look, Taylor, for sure. PJ over his boards for Adam. And PJ over his 24.5 points. Been cooking. Yeah, I mean, he's been playing against some weak defenses, right? So real quick, like I tell you guys strength of schedule, let's go through the next schedule real quick. So they just beat the Pelicans, right? 119 to 101. Smoked them. They were up by 30 in this game. Before that, they beat the Jazz. Let's give them a round of applause, right? You beat the Jazz. You were at home. Jazz were playing 5th game in 7 nights as well. I remember that. Before that, they beat the Bulls. We got to, give it up. You're right. You beat the Bulls. Great job. Everybody's doing that. And then you beat the Hornets. Oh, yeah, you got to give it up. Beat the Hornets, right? So you get a much better opponent, right? I think this is where people don't look into it and factor stuff like this into their handicapping. So Pelicans, Jazz, Bulls, Hornets, these teams, none of them 4 teams maybe even going to the playoffs. And if they are, it's only the Bulls, and that's because the Eastern Conference is so weak. But take that information, do what you want to do with it, man. The last time they played against a team that was, I guess, I would say a mid-tier team, the Bucks, they lost the game by 17 points, and they were on the road. So I guess that makes me lean a little bit more towards Dallas, but I'm probably gonna stay away from this game, if I'm being honest. They also lost to the Sixers by 12 points as well. These were competent opponents that they played against. But let's move on. All right, next one up we have is the Bulls and the Hornets. This last one I'm gonna go through. Bulls and Hornets. So line open. I know Chicago was laying more points than this. Let's just see. I think it was 4.5 was what they were laying. Let's see. Let's see. Chicago. They were laying 3. No, open Hornets -1. And then that's what I'm seeing. Open Hornets -1. And now it's Bulls -3. So people thinking that the Bulls, this is the get right spot for the Bulls. And it could be that. I honestly don't know. We start with the injury report. These are neither one of these teams I really want to bet on right now. But we start with the injury report. And the Chicago Bulls are getting a bit more healthy. Kobe White is listed as probable. Isaac Okoro is also listed as probable. There's still no Ayo Dosunmu, and Trey Jones is expected to play as well. So I think this is going to help the offense out a lot. Also, Zach Collins is listed as probable. Jalen Smith is listed as probable. This could be the get right spot. You still know Kevin Huerter either, but this could be the get right spot for Chicago. Now we know Chicago's been god awful recently. They're actually the worst team in the NBA when they lay points on the road. So far this season. But on the Charlotte side, there's a ton of injuries as well. There's no Trey Mann, there's no Colin Sexton, and there's no Lonzo Ball. So the last time we saw Charlotte play, they were playing against a very soft defense. Actually, it wasn't even that soft. Who was Charlotte playing against in the last game? I can't even remember, but I know I told you guys, if we go watch the show, I told you guys I liked. It was against the Nuggets. Yeah, it was against the Nuggets. They were getting 10.5 and they lost the game by 9. This is a game where I'm going right back to what I should have bet in the last one, and that is Miles Bridges over his assists. So Miles Bridges' assist is listed at 5.5. I actually want to show you guys this. I'm gonna go back to Outlier really quickly. But I did bet this. I bet this right before the show started. So official play for me. I'm looking at Bridges. So Miles Bridges over his 5.5 assist prop. This was at 4.5, I think, in the last game. So we kind of missed out a little bit, but it's all good. This is the game right here. Right before the break, he finished with 8 assists. So this is the full season, right? You can see he's averaging just 3.5 assists on the full season. He's under this number in 18 of his 24 games, only 25% hit rate. However, and his potential assists right here, 7.2. So he only averages 6.8 potential assists. 7.2 potential assists without LaMelo on the floor. But if you take LaMelo off, so we go here, we go factors, we go games played without LaMelo Ball. Really, Colin Sexton is another big one as well. And you see that the number comes up, right? So now he's averaging 8.5 potential assists. With just 8 potential assists, he's over in all 4 of his games. He's averaged 6.8 assists so far this season. Chicago allows the 7th most assists on the season. They're 22nd in spot-up defense in the league, which is where Bridges gets 30% of his assists and 42% he also gets 42% of assists at the rim. Chicago, we know, one of the worst defenses in the NBA as far as restricted areas. So and you can see the 18 potential assists against the Denver Nuggets. I bet this already. Love the matchup. I think it's a game where he could have, I don't know if he get 18, but the thing that Denver and Chicago has in common is they both play super fast. And so I am expecting him to be point Bridges tonight. Bridges over his 5.5 assists. I put it in my pocket already. I did bet that one. So that's my thought process. Like I said, I don't really know who wins the game. I don't really care. I will tell you guys this though. I wrote this in my notes. Chicago's 4-2 to the under as home favorites. The Bulls are 5-1 to the under when their team total if they're road favorite. So I don't know if Chicago can play enough defense to win this game. I don't know if Chicago's offense is going to be enough to win this game. And Charlotte, for whatever reason, again, they just played against Denver. Denver's not a great defensive team. They only scored 106 points. So it's weird they want to take an under, with Charlotte offense against the Chicago Bulls, especially with Charlotte being at home. But I don't know if I could play over in this one. That's my thought process. Nets lost to the Jazz. They lost to the Jazz. My fault. You're right, Faust. They did lose to the Jazz. It was 5 games in 7 nights for them. Mavs under 500. I want to bet the under, but haven't yet. Bulls upset game. Didn't the Hornets just beat the Bulls? They did play, right? Let's see. They did beat the Bulls 123-116 a couple days after Thanksgiving. That game was at home too. Yeah. Under 234.5 last night. Leaning Charlotte. Don't like Chicago as a at home as faves. This game is in Charlotte though, so they're not home faves. They're road faves in this one. Well, after that mini break and the Clippers getting right, anything's possible in the NBA. Josh Giddey. Giddey 9+ assists. I did see this. This was on my short list too. I was going to take him at 10 just because I didn't like the juice odds. Last night, I think it was -132, Taylor. So -140 makes sense now. So he's over in 7 of 8 games, averaging 10.9 assists versus teams that rank 20th or worse in assists allowed. I did see that as well. Josh Giddey double-double. Josh Giddey assists. I think I would take him straight at 10, but I understand it. Buzelis has a really good matchup. I was looking into his player props as well. Over his points and assists, no Ayo or Kevin Huerter. He should have a good game against Charlotte. You can see that. What else I like? I like the under 234. It's 231 now. Might still play it, Gilbert says. What up, Mitchell? Appreciate you for tapping in. Hope all is well. I like the Bulls here in the revenge spot. Let's get those likes up for Chris. Yeah, if you guys get the like button, it's helpful. Gilbert says he'll go Bulls 1-10 as a favorite. Think you're just playing that win margin. What's up to Reeks? It's hopped on late. Give me the over here, 233.5. I can't quite get there, but I don't think I'll be on the opposite side. I think this will be a game that I'll stay off of. And that is it, man. As far as other games, what I did not go through, I didn't go through Minnesota and Golden State. I got to do a little bit more work on that game. Anthony Edwards also listed as questionable. Mike Conley is out. No Draymond. Steph is back. Al Horford continues to deal with sciatica. It is playoff revenge for Golden State. I got to do a little bit more work on that game, so I'm not going to give you guys too much on that one. Cleveland and Washington. I leaned over. Opened 237.5. It's up 6 points right now to 243.5. It still might not be enough, honestly. So we know that I can't lay with Cleveland. That was the first thing I thought about, right? 14.5 favorites. It hasn't moved yet. Jared Allen continues to be out. That's less defense for the Cleveland Cavaliers. Trey Johnson could be in for Washington. He hasn't played in quite a while. There's no Sarr. Automatically makes me think over. And then Chris Middleton's also out for the Washington Wizards as well. So Cleveland doesn't care about covering the spread. They're 8-17 against the spread so far this season. They're 3-5 against the spread as road favorites. 1-5 against the spread when they land double digits. But I also don't want the Wizards either. The Cavs beat the Wizards earlier this season. They beat them 148 to 114. So the game finished 262 points. Last year when these two teams played at the end of the season, Washington also lost that game 134 to 124. So the Cavs have had no problem scoring basketball against this Wizards team. 258 points were scored in that game last year as well. So I leaned over. I didn't get there. It's up 6 points now. I still lean over because, clearly 243.5 is not enough. First half over, maybe. I'm not sure what to do with this game, but I know what I wrote in my notes is Washington 7-1 to the over as home dog, 6-2 for the full game. So Washington 7-1 to the over as home dogs in the first half, 6-2 to the over in the full game. Cleveland 6-2 to the over as road favorites, just not playing a lot of defense. So yeah, I think over would be the play. I didn't bet it though. Also not laying this many points with the Cavs, even though they did win the game by 30 the last time that these two teams played. They beat them by 34 points. And there's no SAR. I don't want the Wizards. I also don't want the Cavs though. And I think that's all the games. The other one was just, that's all of them. So yeah, hopefully the show was helpful, man. As always, if it was, do me a favor, hit the like button for me. Share the show, put it in the group chat. I'm going official with a couple of things today. Give me Indiana plus the 7.5. That was the other game that I didn't really touch on. Jackson talked about it. I didn't talk about it. So you know what? Matter of fact, get to my notes real quick. So what I like about, let's just go back for a second. So what I like about the Pacers, so Maxey and Embiid are listed as probable. But I bet this right before the show started. So Indiana is 8-2 against the spread in their last 10 games. Philly is 6-8 against the spread at home this season, just 4-6 in their last 10 games. So they haven't been covering the number. Not a team that I want to lay a lot of points with. They're also just 2-4 against the spread as home favorites. And I disagree with Jackson. Jackson talked about, the Pacers from a full season perspective, they haven't been that great. But recently, they've been really good. Indiana won 3 of the 4 matchups last season. I know that they had Tyrese Halliburton in those games. But Indy, in my opinion, is playing a little bit better basketball here. The last 10 games, they're a better offensive team. Both teams are top 10 defensively. I think Indiana was 9th and the Sixers were 8th. And if I'm expecting to get points, I think I got to take them, man. 8-2 against the spread in their last 10 games. 3-0 against the spread as road dogs. Meanwhile, Philly, like I said, 4-6 against the spread in their last 10. 1-2 against the spread as home favorites. The number for Philly is just a tad bit too big, given Indy continues to get a bit healthier, in my opinion. The cherry on top, though, was that the Indiana Pacers have actually played the third hardest strength of schedule in their last 5 games. So real quick, if we go look at who Indiana has played against, when I went to go look at this, the Pacers just played against the Kings. That's not hard at all. They played the Bulls. That's not too hard at all either. But they played the Nuggets, the Cavs, right? Both of those teams were coming off bad losses, and the Pacers got smoked by both of those teams. So yeah, I think just based on strength of schedule, the Sixers have played the 7th easiest strength of schedule in their last 5 games. They had the Lakers, the Bucks before that, the Warriors, the Wizards, the Hawks, the Nets. So yeah, I like the Indiana Pacers. I'm going against Jackson in this one. Plus 7.5 official for me. Bridges over his assists. Nembhard over his assists when the books actually opened it up. And like I said, I like Utah plus the 7.5 as well. Not sure if I'll get to the window with it or first half or market and play, but these are the looks that I like for today. I did bet the 2 that you see in green, man. Hopefully that was helpful. Like I said, resources all in the description of the video. Check them out if you guys are interested. Jackson, Outlier, Moneyballer, Odds Jam. And that'll be it, man. Best of luck on your action for today. We'll be back probably about 8 a.m., 9 a.m. tomorrow morning, man. Best of luck on your Friday action. I'll catch you guys in the next one.